wealth can be a snare to the soul of man because now you got something to lose. You understand how wealth can snare your soul and how a lot of righteous people reject wealth because of that reason, because it's a snare to the soul. They understand it because I don't want to live in fear of losing my worldly wealth. But you see how it can taint the spirit and the heart and the mind and the soul? These are warnings that we should take seriously and say, wow, this is like a hot potato. And that, we should be spending it and circulating it. But we all know if we did that, it winds up in one guy's pocket. Then the wealth is concentrated more and more and more. It's a big problem that we need God's help with. There's no way we're going to fix this thing without God's direct intervention, assistance. No way. It is the power of God. If politicians lead us out of Babylon, lead us out of slavery, it's going to be at the hand of God. It's going to take something like Moses did with the parting of the Red Sea, some phenomenon that's going to blow everybody's mind. We need something humongous to really shake up civilization to where we get it as a collective that we have been duped and deceived. We've got to get away from the training that we've been given, and we've got to look through God's eyes and be honest. That's all it takes. Just saying, what would this world look like if God was running it? Would there be money? What need would there be if we were sharing everything? If we were willing to serve one another? How could a society not function? If we all know we have an instinct to be appreciated for our talents, that there's nothing on earth that could keep us down from serving our fellow human being. That was just a given. That was our instinct to do that. To resist that instinct was unnatural. That was our new paradigm we were born into. That's what we got to understand. We can have that. But we got to get away from these evildoers. Remember, and this is what's coming to a head here, is been working its way for thousands of years. But that's it. The end of the age is coming. This age is a long period of time. We had a big ramp up when Jesus came and visited the earth. God poured out his grace. So there was a lot of levity was brought. People started laughing more. We started sponging off that grace, taking advantage of the grace that God brought us through Jesus Christ, proving there is no death, that even that's so we can laugh. We know that God's in control of everything, that to him, everyone that ever lived and died is still alive. He has a final say in every matter of life and death. That's it. That's a beautiful thing. So we've squandered that grace largely by not making progress, but it's foretold, it's written, it's prophesied. He said it'll be just like in the days of Noah. This is something that Steve Quayle is quoting. It is, and that's it. And every man to himself. Whatever's right in your own mind, just go for it. And we've got to reject it, as even though we think it might be costing us to reject it, we've got to. We've said, God, it's not the gold and silver we're after. I'm after souls. That's it. That's it. And if I miss the mark, I'm destined to spend a long time in hell with these evildoers, the wicked ones, the ones of this world that trained me to be a Laodicean, to say I'm wealthy and I'm in need of nothing. I'm well heeled and I can see the light and I know truth. And you don't. You mistook self-righteousness for true righteousness. Okay? You glorified yourself with self-pride instead of glorifying the only one that's worthy of glory. The only one that, if there's any pride to be had, it's proud of the fact that Jesus was willing to do what he did, that God loved us so much. Be proud that God is a good and loving God. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No equivocation about it. God is a good God. And that's the truth. That's good news that we've got to share with everybody. Oh, that term I was thinking of last week to explain the stock market, the irrational exuberance is what it was. Linda Sarsourzi, oh my gosh, what a piece of work this woman is. Alex, like myself, find her very hard to swallow, okay, that she's here in America talking the way she is. When if she was speaking in Saudi Arabia, trying to say the things she's saying, she'd be beheaded. Does she ever talk about that? Does she ever point that out? What radical Islam brings and how the fact that she's got a lot of family members that have been involved in radical Islam, okay, that are in jail to this day. She's not talking about those things. She's very selective about what she talks about. But no, no. Anybody that comes into this culture, we have to understand that we have a culture. America is a group of wild people. Okay, that's what we are. We are the people of the Wild West, and we love our Constitution, and that radical Islam goes against the Constitution just as much as fascism or communism goes against the Constitution. This, you can't impose any kind of Sharia law, any kind of religious rule over the land. That's not what it's about. You can say what you want. You have freedom to practice your religion, but you don't have freedom to force others to practice your type of religion and to condemn anybody that doesn't. No, you don't. Okay, and this whole idea that you're going to talk the way you do in America and say, I'm taking advantage of my newfound Americanism, but you're unwilling to reject all the evils of the cultures, okay, and the radical Islamic goings on, okay, that's wrong. You can't do that because it's authoritarian, it's totalitarian, it's fascist, and it's everything that the American people stand against. So, no, it'll never fly. Okay, Sharia law will never fly in America any more than communism will fly in America. It's anti-constitutional. In fact, it's an anathema. It goes against everything. It's antithetical to the Constitution. So, no, Linda Sarsourzi, and she's saying that she's claiming Trump and his associates of being white supremacists without an iota of evidence. Okay, now people need to start getting sued for defamation of character. That's what that is. So she needs to put up or shut up. She needs to show some evidence to why she believes this. You can't just label somebody a racist. That's besmirching, defaming their character. Okay, and it's wrong. It's evil. It's illegal even. You can't do it. Okay, it's wrong. It's immoral. It's ungodly. It's unholy. You know, people, this feeling that they got to denounce Russia, and I have heard it from, you know, people that make claims. Nobody thinks that Alex Jones is a Russian agent. So he doesn't need to denounce Putin and Russia. Oh, this and that about being a Russian agent. You think I'm a Russian agent? I mean, it's the most absurd thing in the world. Who cares? Okay, but if Russia's doing good and we're doing evil, let's just be honest, call a spade a spade. So, you know, none of us should feel compelled, not Trump or anybody else, to say, look, this is a new page. It's a new day has dawned in Russia, and we don't need to pull them down in order to lift ourselves up, especially if our hearts aren't sincere, if we don't really believe it, but we're just doing it for a public display of saying, oh, what was that term that they came out? I not denounce, or I disaffiliate myself with that group or that person. I can't remember the term that they were using, but I disavow. Okay, that was it. I disavow David Duke is what Trump was forced to say. Okay, look, who can stop white supremacists from voting for Trump? Okay, what are their reasons? I mean, maybe they're just doing it as being double agents and saying, look, I can't stand this guy because he's not a racist. And so by my supporting him, knowing that everybody hates my group, I'm doing him political damage. You understand how that works? So it shouldn't be on, you know, oh, nobody's that diabolical. Yes, and very much more diabolical. So, you know, we don't need to denounce anybody else if our hearts aren't into it. We could denounce their behavior, but, you know, being a white supremacist is that's calling him a racist, and that he's not. I was just hearing John Rappaport. He was talking about the mainstream media being remiss on the health, you know, the medical industry, because of the way they're trained. That's the way they're, you know, that's their indoctrination. So they don't get into nutritional stuff and telling people to avoid certain food and drink because it's got poisons in it. For example, aspartame. You don't see any commercials warning people about the effects of aspartame causing dementia, yet they're putting it all in all the gum now. Look in all the gum. The soda pop diet, people think they're doing something healthy. It's going to make them lose weight. But some studies have shown it makes you actually gain more weight, causes wood poisoning, that can, wood alcohol poisoning, lead to blindness, and of course the brain damage, the dementia. That's a no-brainer. It goes hand in hand with that. You start screwing up your brain, of course you're going to lose your memory. But yet, do you see any commercials denouncing it? And people think we're not being poisoned. It's a chemical lobotomy is what's being done on us to get us more pliable, more malleable to the whims of our rulers. This illegitimate gaggle of thugs, the money-loving monsters that rule over us, and their sycophantic, high-ranking political minions. Okay, that's what's going on here.